Thank you for staying tuned and having this banter here in the studio off camera. Well, it's all about what transpired at the Supreme Court, where a judgment was given a day to inauguration. That's a big blow to some political big wigs in Bayelsa State, even in Nigeria as a country. Why it was a moment of miracle, a moment of joy for some others. A mixture of emotions, pains and gains, happiness and of course sadness. What transpired in Bayelsa State, Supreme Court judgment that saw Lion leaving the scene and Dere given a standing ovation. I still have my left gentleman here with me in the studio, Barrister Robinson Emade, Barrister Patrick Awo Osaige, and just joining us right now is Barrister Thank God Iluobe. Barrister Thank God, welcome to TMI.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Wilson.
Right.
Good morning, viewers.
And I still have my panelists here with me in the studio. So now let's take a look at what transpired in Bayelsa State. In some of the headlines, a headline was like on the page of the newspaper, how APC blew Bayelsa away. I mean, take it up from there, Barrister Thank God. Is this a colossal mistake on the part of the APC? It was a hard-fought battle, according to so many political watchers, but all of a sudden, one little slip saw the cookies crumbling.
Well, for me, I think it is never too late to do that which is right. At the point where the Supreme Court gave that judgment in favor of the PDP, I think they did it in the best interest of the position of the law. For instance, where you observe that the deputy governor running with Lion, as was declared by the INEC as the winner of the governorship election, not having proper documentation or credentials to run for that position. It is supposed to me that we cannot continue to afford a situation, a country where the position of the law is not followed strictly sensu. So for me, I think that irrespective of the popularity of the candidates of the APC, as it were, the position of the law must be followed. And having done that, I think justice has been properly served for the people of that state.
You call it justice. Okay, I'll come back to you on that. Now, people have the opinion that INEC made a huge mistake. After all, if documents are submitted, it's left for you as a political umpire to go do your research to see if these candidates are qualified to vie for that position. How do you feel about this onslaught right now, in quotes, to speak, against INEC's mistake in that regard?
Thank you very much. Obviously, you have said it, and that's the truth. Like I've often said, because these are ordinary should be pre-election matters. At the point of contesting, I should be screened properly. You know, we've had a lot of talks here and there. You didn't attend a particular school, Salisu Buhari's time, then Speaker, Toronto certifications and all of that. I think that one started it up then, you know. And over the years, we've been finding a whole lot of funny affidavits that have come to take the place of certificates. So that's in itself. I think what the good thing about the Supreme Court's judgment, at least to a large extent, we have is clearing us or curing that irregularities gradually as it stands. But now looking at INEC, I think they need to explain to Nigerians and the world, how on earth did you have a man with 5 different certificates with conflicting names? Yes, I know you have rights to change. If you're after primary school, you want to bear another name, you could depose an affidavit or make a newspaper publication and possibly you could let know why if need be, or just at least you should have something to show. I used to be Winston Marshall. I want to be Winston Patrick. I want to be Patrick Marshall. All of those changes. Or my Winston is now spelled as Winston. Why Winston? It suggests to say, and if you look at those fake products we have, we have some. You hear Michelin, and you see another kind of spelling, still sounding alike. This one is not the one. You see Samsung, and you see the Samsung we know, the A, it's not written A, but you see a Samsung with proper A, then you know something is at it. Yeah. So when you have conflicting things like that, what did INEC do at that instance? They should have screened him out. They should have, and that was supposed to have been done, but they didn't. And they allowed it, just imagine. They allow him to go through all the process like that until Supreme Court. And we thank God for the ruling of the Supreme Court, and a very big lesson to all of us that, whatever you do, remember and know that one day you'll be called to account. I know the man would have looked at himself as a huge disappointment, not to himself, to his state. Look at where the embarrassment had come from. He had survived and succeeded with all of those many 5-star certificates that have been paraded around. Left for me, if they even go further, we have not even gone further now to really verify. Because I remember those days when you write exam, I think WAEC, they'll say pay 300 naira for verification. You need to do so. At the school, you pay verification fee. The schools you attended before you proceed. They even bring your transcripts. I know we're doing a master's and certain PhD, you have to get your transcript. Yeah. So if there's no transcript, would the name be different at the time the transcript came? And these are some issues I really didn't find funny.
All right.
And INEC could have, sorry sir, INEC really didn't need to do so much. All you need to do is just to visit the schools and ask them for proper records. And that would be enough to do the work. So it's really embarrassment and a disgrace to the entire Bayelsa people and Nigeria at large, and we shouldn't pray for such things to happen again.
Supreme Court judgment, the aftermath of Bayelsa election. Barrister Robinson, you've heard them. They've given that their position on what they feel about what transpired. Over to you.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with the Supreme Court. I also would not in totality agree with my brother. Because who feeds candidates? It's the political parties that field their candidates. And I know that part of the process of the primaries is to ensure that you are fielding fit and proper candidates. Okay. The question is, did the APC screen the candidates they fielded? This happened in Zamfara. It happened in Rivers. We see a political party as large as the APC doing things either in a hurry or lackadaisically. I would have expected that the APC would screen their candidates during the primaries and ensure that they are feeding people that have good credentials, academic credentials and otherwise. I want to imagine that having feeded the candidates, a party like the APC or even the PDP, INEC will say, no, you didn't check this, your candidate, his certificates are wrong. Yes, nothing would have been wrong with that, but I want to believe that APC would have challenged INEC's authority to do that. But all of those ones are in the past. The truth is that the Lions deputy didn't have good certificates, good credentials. And that means that the election, he was not qualified to partake in. And since they have a joint ticket, it drops off on the Lion. So if the Lion is out, like you said, and the Amotekun is taking over now.
Not on Amotekun taking over.
The Amotekun, they say Amotekun is tiger. He's taking over now. Leopard. He's taking over now. It is because the Lion did not put his house in order. If I am going to pick a deputy, I will ask him, but let's talk if I trust myself.
Yeah.
What are your credentials? I've known you for a long time, but we are going to
This is serious business.
Let's look at it. I will do my own before the party, then before we get to the INEC. So what has happened has happened. The Supreme Court is right on all fours, and we are happy that they have the courage and the nerves to do that in this case. Nobody is to blame but the deputy governor that was not to be and his party.
All right. I will come back to you in a jiffy. Now, some of the people that, look, this is the deputy. He shouldn't have rubbed off on Lion. After all, his credentials, they're up-to-date, spotless. That it can just, okay, fine, deputy, just go away, replace him with another person. How do you feel about that assertion?
Well, I think that is not the position of the law.
Absolutely.
So, the candidate must have what it takes to run in the first place. On the position of blaming INEC, I think it is not INEC's job, as of today, looking at the Supreme Court judgment in one of the cases, I think relating to Article and the PDP then, that disqualification remains the position of the courts.
Exactly.
And not INEC. You can front load or submit anything you like to INEC. INEC does not have the power as of today to disqualify any candidates. If the party is not screening its candidates very well, then it becomes the job of the courts. And I think there was a judgment earlier that was given against the deputy running. And INEC said it was almost too late for them to withdraw or change the position. And so they went ahead with the elections, believing that whoever feels aggrieved should go to court. And that's where the court has come to play its role as of today, and Lion appears not to have been the favored candidate, considering the fact that he was running a race with somebody that was defective. Ab initio, like my colleague has said, these were things we ought to do. And many of us, even though today we are blaming Lions and his other candidates, appear not to have been critical and prudent with respect to issues like this. When somebody tells you, I am this, you don't bother to verify, you don't bother to look into the details, and tomorrow you assume, you continue to assume, because Lion has known this man for a very long time.
He was even a senator.
Yeah, he was even a senator, and so there was no reason why at this point to start checking his record, because he never checked. And so these are the challenges of not being prudent as an individual, not being diligent as a nation. These are the challenges we keep having year in, year out. I think those who are advocating that the deputy governor should have been expunged and let Lion run also have not gone to read our constitution. Exactly. So that they should properly abreast themselves with information and take a position based on the laws available as of today. If they think it is necessary to adjust it, to waive it, or to do whatever amendment to it, they should start proceeding towards that in the now. But as it is today, as long as the deputy governor was not qualified to run with the governor, it appears that both of them have been taken aback, because that is what it is. If you, even in our common parlance, that if you run alone, you can run far, but if you run with a lot of people, you can run best, as it were. But if they have defects, the defects also affect you, and that's what has happened to Lion in this case.
All right, some persons are accusing the national chairman of the APC. Even a youth also in Bayelsa State is calling for his resignation. Does any of these concern the national chairman, Mr. Patrick?
Well, you know, a lot of them, they will have their, like the national chairman is an individual, and they have rights to his opinion, and he's also not happy about the situation. I know he said nobody will be sworn in and all of those things he said, you know, and he was trying to look at the fact that the incoming or the current governor now.
All right, now you just hold on. I want to go for a break. When we return, we'll continue with the discussion. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's all about the aftermath of the Supreme Court judgment when we're taking a look at the Bayelsa state governorship election. We're with you, Barrister Patrick Awo Osaige, that some presidents are calling for the head of the APC national chairman. Take it up from there.
Thank you very much. Like I did said, and I'm of the opinion that everybody is entitled to his own opinion still, but I don't think the national chairman should be called on in that regard, as it were, because, but for, again, it's for and against. Again, you could look at it critically and say he's the national chairman, he should have encouraged his party or followed up in you know, as it were, but calling him because of comment, I believe the reason is basically because of what he said. When he said nobody will be sworn in and all of that, they're going to exploit all the windows of law, you know, to ensure that they do the needful, that the current governor have not met the necessary capacity as regards to that is, you know, that is needed to be governor, as it were, setting votes, and he was making that comment. But I don't think it has happened, and I think they should go back, instead of trading blames, for those that the APC family should come together and begin to look at it like, you know, Daddy here has said, you know, it didn't happen today. There are other states like Zamfara and other states where they were shut out. We see what is really wrong. Why are we always falling victim of this? So this is what is like not being diligent in what you are doing. You see, it's to talk to your people and let them know, other than saying, well, call on the national chairman. Yes, they have rights to do that. They are his party men, and even those that are not, the opposition, that are now, you know, they will not be happy with such comments. The new governor now, who is from the other party, the PDP, you know, they will not want to hear things like that. So even if they had said so, it's just a hit of the moment. People just want to talk. And nobody have already said anything. They have not. I don't think that should be taken seriously. Okay. But what we should really take seriously here is the deputy governor's case. You know, it has taught a great lesson to everyone. All political actors should be very careful this time around. It's not just to be moving around, or you may have succeeded at some point in time. I remember a situation of somebody who have circumvented certain processes over a period of time, but at one situation he was napped, he was caught. You know, this is not what you should be doing. And he said, well, I have been doing that. And we have had series of people in offices. And I think education play a pivotal role in molding leadership. Okay. You see, when we have people that have not gone through the process properly, then you really have a lot of fallout of things you are saying today. We're talking of, you know, people protesting and not wanting to know what is happening in their states. And because the right persons ordinarily, if you are not well grounded, is not just to be rich or to be influential. You need the necessary intelligence and training and education to really be a good leader, as it were, not just the way we see it today. Oshomole being blamed, it's a two-way. It's party men, and they can say, well, leader, you did not, we believed in you, you know everything, because you should have told us, Baba, what is happening? Is this not what the bargain? Say, don't worry, we're handling it. And then the other party folks will say, well, you know, leaders, we always say things against him. And I don't think he himself sees it that way. Okay. He's expected to be blamed in everything.
Because we are pressed for time and we have another interview to conduct, Barrister Robinson Imade, you have the last line on this.
Well, quickly, Comrade Adams Oshomole, the chairman, national chairman of the APC, has over 95% of the blame.
Over 95%? Over
95% of the blame.
Wow.
Primaries is a purely party affairs. He is the national chairman. He sets up committee to screen. In some cases, he goes there himself to screen the candidates. And if he says that he didn't know that the man didn't have certificate, then it means that that position is bigger than him. The Zamfara case we have not forgotten. It was an act of impunity. Nothing will happen. Situation is what has led to this. It is not every time that you have your way. We are still looking for the primary school certificate of an ex-governor in the state. We do not know how a party will feed a man that has no certificate. Nobody can exonerate the national chairman of the party in this matter. He has over 95% of the blame. In fact, this is exclusive blame that he didn't screen, or his party did not screen the people before he fielded them. Having said that, I am thinking, because you're saying we are pressed for time, that by now the man should be in detention. If it is already proven that he forged certificates, he wanted to deceive the people.
The deputy governor,
to Lion,
or that was supposed to be the deputy governor.
That was supposed to be the deputy governor. If you came to that position with forged certificates, and it is now proven you have not challenged the authority of the Supreme Court to say my certificates are genuine, he has accepted, he's quiet, he should not be in his house by now.
He should be arrested.
Oh yes, for certificate forgery.
That's correct.
That's true. He should not be. If he's in his house by now, then the law enforcement agency should tell us why he has not been arrested. That is on the one hand. As for whether Oshomole should be blamed or the party, or everybody should blame Oshomole, because he's the national chairman. It's his duty, the duty of his office, to screen the candidates. If he failed to do it, or he did it and the man was able to deceive him, he should tell us. We asked him these questions. Those are not issues that he can even.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Our time is up.
Thank you very much.
Our time is up. Yes, you are blaming Senator DJ Emerio. You're saying that the national chairman should have known that Emerio is not qualified. But on the other hand, Barrister Patrick says it's not fully his fault. You can look at it from both ways. I know that, Barrister, thank God you have so much to say. I understand, but not too worried. The discussion is a continuum. Okay, you have other time to throw more light in those points of yours. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
The man should be arrested.
No, but nobody's talking about arrest right now.
I think you should
I mean, the man is not happy. The man is injured. You want to add arrest to it?
He should be arrested and prosecuted.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.